When somebody tells you how it is and you don't like what they say, does that make them a bad person? Of course not. Of course not. Somebody should send a memo to the politicals or the political class in Western Europe, in the Western European region of the world, because sometimes stating the obvious is a hard pill to swallow. But that is exactly what the Donalds did yesterday at the World Economic Forum. Uh, he explained that the European leaders had been getting it wrong for so long that they have been they've been losing sight of the path they should be on for economic growth. He glossed over a few aspects of bad decision making and explained why. For example, the levels of illegal immigration being allowed to happen, which is changing the very core of some cities across Europe, making them unrecognizable. Now, he mentioned the UK on that one because he said there were certain cities in the UK that a friend of his said that he couldn't recognize again. He said that working on the Green New Deal alone was the wrong way to go, not necessarily because of the cleanliness of the air, but for the economical cost, cutting industry back in Europe because of high fuel costs and sending industry across to China to make the very things which are contributing to the high energy prices in Europe, sort of making the rod for Europe's own back. Right? He mentioned North Sea oil and how it could benefit industry across the whole of Europe if the oil wells were opened up again in that stretch of water. He even went on to mention Emmanuel, I've just spoken to Bridget again, Macron's dark glasses when he gave the speech during the forum event. Macron's spokesman said he had a ruptured vein in his eye and it was unsightly, to which I would ask, would you like a black eye with that?
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Trump comment of what's that all about? It's priceless. His glasses, what's that all about?
Yeah, yes, yeah, the aviator ones, yeah. I thought they look quite cool actually.
I
In
don't.
the 1980s way, yeah.
So all in all, a masterclass of giving a speech, and funnily enough, the press is beginning to warm to him as they can see the contrast of a leader that is wanting to lead in pro of their country and the European leaders who are leading just for ego and personal gain. When the contrast is set out right in front of you, it really is hard not to see it.
Right.
There you are.
Well, yes. Um, yeah, I mean, I'll be quite honest. I'm going to go back in time a bit. Obviously, I don't know what you're going to say. So, and when having, I suppose, yeah, grown up or developed with uh, Donald J. Trump in the background, appearing in magazines and everything else, he was always an interesting person to read about. Yeah, and he was just there. I mean, I didn't really know much about his politics or anything else. I didn't think he really had an interest in politics. I only recently found out he was originally a Democrat. Yeah. So, um, so not somebody I would necessarily have thought he's going to be the president of the US one day. Um, but he was always an interesting person. He was charismatic. He was a showman. But he was street smart, is the term I would use, street smart in a business sense. I'm not saying he could walk down the street and yeah, see off hoodlums or anything else like this. But yeah, he knew the score. He knew New York for starters, and he knew the US. Um, Fast forwarding to was it 2016, and he comes down the escalator and says, "I'm going to run for president." Even then, I didn't take it seriously. Yeah, but he was saying ideas, what he felt, even to the point of saying how he'd achieve it. He was telling us at 2 o'clock in the morning on tweets. Yeah. Um, so um, he was, if you like, an honest person. Um, and, or, yeah, I was thinking you're too honest to be a politician. That was my fault. you're saying too
Well,
much. Yeah,
slightly honest people normally are.
yeah.
I mean, Trump, I only sort of heard first began to hear about him in The Apprentice,
Oh,
believe
yeah,
it or
but
not.
yeah.
I've never, ever, ever, he's never come across my radar when I was younger. Never, never.
I think I saw him on TV. I think I saw him on the classic of the Prince of Bel Air. Um,
You
and
know,
occasionally pop up in films and things. He was a darling of the media then. Um,
well, you're the film buff, so
yeah.
you probably know him. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
to me, yeah,
But
to
he's
me,
yeah.
he
Sorry. Yeah.
was just like I said. Anybody who's slightly honest is
Yeah.
too honest to be a politician.
But yeah, he has. I mean, he went in there. Um, this has been building. That speech he gave yesterday, and I'm not overall still even not overall a Donald Trump massive fan. I think he says the truth and things like this. Yeah, I still can I put it, I still don't know him. Um, but he said exactly what a lot of us have been thinking, and there is a case of who wants change. We do. Who wants to change? No one speaks. Yeah, and the leaders across Western Europe are always talking about changing and for the good of this and the good of our allies. Um, what about the good of me? What about the good of me as a British citizen or somebody who's a French citizen or a German citizen? Yeah. Um, what about the good of them? Um, and to the point now, the politicians are now not selling us directly their policies. They're doing them. We're electing these people. I mean, in the UK, nobody actually elected the current administration as such, but they run
What
by the
policy? What you said that they're doing them?
yeah.
What policy has the UK government done this since it's been in power that's
Uh,
going to make a great change on the UK for the
well, I
better?
well, this is the point. I didn't vote for them because I didn't know.
No,
I didn't think they had any policies.
that's not what I asked.
Yeah. Um, have they done anything? Um,
I don't think they have. You see,
no, actually, I mean, nothing that. You know what? You've just pulled me up there. I can't think of anything they've done. I'm not living in the UK, but certainly they haven't stopped migrant immigration, smashed the gangs,
they
or
haven't done anything. They haven't done anything.
they've
Well,
certainly increased the prices of things.
yeah, that's
But
right. Put taxes up.
yeah, which they said they wouldn't. So again, they've gone against that. Um, they haven't built any new homes at all. Well,
No,
not considerably.
no,
I They haven't helped industry,
no,
um, and they haven't made any of our quality of life better.
no.
Um,
This
actually,
is why.
they've actually helped employment rights. They've actually reduced employment in the UK, so they must have helped employment rights. Because if you're not employed, you're not going to worry about your employment rights. Um, yeah, and um, yeah, good point. But yeah, okay. But I mean, yeah, they're U-turning. Are we up to 15 or for something like that? U-turns now.
13.
Um, how's it? Okay, but okay, that's the UK. But yeah, Donald Trump, he probably said in part what a lot of people are thinking. And he offers solutions. Whether or not you agree with the solutions or not, somebody's there actually doing some solutions somewhere, doing some brainstorming. Um, is everything he says that's good for America good for Europe? Of course not. Yeah, America is a different place from Europe collectively. Oh, yeah, I mean, Europe, UK is a different place from Paris, sorry, from France and from
Well,
Germany.
basically, it's saying that if the US is going that way,
Yeah.
and especially when it comes to energy,
Mm,
now we've opened up all the oil wells again,
yeah.
and and Europe it can still go Green New Deal,
Mm,
but it will be all in vain because
yeah.
neither China nor
India.
India, nor Russia,
Mm,
nor now the US, nor any developing countries are
yeah,
going to be part of it.
yeah.
So it's
Um,
going to be serving for naught.
well, I mean that keeps getting pointed out. But even in the left
Naught,
wing media,
naught.
funny enough, yeah. I mean, the left
Now,
wing media are doing it a different way. They say, well, unfortunately, China and India and, like you say, the countries you've just mentioned are not going down that road, as it were, not driving down that road. They're still using, if they are, still using a fossil fueled motor. Um, I mean, yeah, okay. Well, China is producing some quite good EVs, admittedly, but there's going to be problems with them in the future.
well,
But
to make the cars, it's
yeah,
polluting more.
I,
I think the Western, the lefty media now. How about this one? Now that the smog has cleared,
yeah.
uh, are starting to see the light.
Well, it's also they're seeing their readership and their viewership falling off. Um, I mean, okay, when it comes to environment, I want to protect the environment. I want to see more trees planted. I don't want to see greenery disappearing. Um, I I'm a cyclist, but it doesn't mean I want cycle lanes everywhere. In fact, I think some of the cycle lanes are actually more dangerous than not having cycle lanes. Um, and I don't want to see trees cut down and greenery taken away to put a cycle lane in.
No,
Uh,
you'd rather just cut in front of cars and traffic and go through red lights. Yeah, I know your type.
I don't wear lycra, so I'm not totally
Just spell
offensive.
out.
So I'm not totally offensive. The biggest crime is they wear this lycra. I mean, lycra is probably damaging to the environment as well, for all I know. Polyester production, um, but I, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I like cycling. I'm very respectful of other road users, including pedestrians. Um, and because I do know if I ride into a pedestrian, they're going to invariably come second. I'm going to come second against a car, invariably, or a vehicle. Um, but yeah, um, but yeah, you've got to be respectful. But yes, um, I'm I don't support the Green New Deal, but I do support the environment. I think the best thing to help the environment is to plant more carbon capturing devices, i.e., trees, plants, etc., that we have destroyed over the past 700-800 years across Europe, for example. Um, there should be those policies. What do councils do? They're ripping down trees. They're removing trees. I'm always disappointed here when I see a tree get taken removed, but it's very difficult to actually remove a tree in Recife. You've seen so many agreements with the prefettura. Obviously, there's one where it's falling over. I've actually seen one in Recife, Antigua, where they've actually, for years, they've supported this tree on the corner there. It's quite an artistic thing, using metal, whether or not that's good for the environment or not. But yeah, that's a serious investment into preserving a tree. Um, it's, I mean, I support looking out for the environment. We are part of the environment as well. Unfortunately, we have to live. Reducing the population isn't going to necessarily
Yeah.
reduce.
Well, we're certainly hearing your manifesto.
Yeah. Oh well.
Let's
Yeah.
let's get back on track.
Well, yeah, yeah. As I saw once, I'm rambling a bit, but yeah, hey, man, you never know. I might stand one day for somewhere. Yeah, you might as well hear it. Um, but at least
Uh,
I'm thinking about it. At least I have a consideration as well of
yeah, well, we all have our opinions.
yeah. Well, that's it, and I'm encouraging people to have them now. Whether or not you support, I mean, given that on the other side of the coin, and it's been quite open, is Mark Carney gave his impression the day before. The Prime Minister of Canada, the day before, gave a speech.
Yes, yes, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, probably counter the Trumpian one.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So you got two. So again, this to me is democracy in um
And Trump said to Carney, "Watch him out."
Well, yeah, we're paying for the US. I've got the receipts to prove it. Yeah. Um, okay. Again, it's it's a debate that's got to be had, and it's important that it's been brought to the fore rather than the same old, which is, as you said, been failing for 70, 80 years now, in effect.